What is going on with Alchemist AI? The token is pumping hard. It's the best performing token in the Pump.fun ecosystem. That's the launchpad for meme coins on Solana. Let's have a look at who's buying here. Is this rally sustainable? Does it still make sense to buy? Or is this a pump and dump? Let's look at the on-chain data. So here's an overview of the Pump.fun ecosystem tokens. So those are all Solana tokens and they've all been quote unquote fair launched, and Alchemist AI is the best performer. It's up 66% in the last 24 hours. Now the ecosystem as a whole tends to struggle a bit recently. The number of deployed transactions tends to rather trend down in the last month. And so Alchemist had its first nice rally, then it came back down. Now it's recovering again. What's very interesting is that the price is much more volatile than the number of holders. So what we've got on the left is the number of wallets that have at least 10,000 Alchemist AI tokens. So at the current price, that's $904. For the chart in the middle, we go a 10x in minimum holding. So that's now $9,000 worth of the token. For the chart on the right, another 10x. So that's now $90,000 worth of the token. We see that the growth among small retail is pretty constant. And we see how the number of whale investors is not declining. Now, where does the price volatility then come from when the number of holders isn't really that fluctuating? Because again, the price went down by 75% in the matter of a few days. I believe this has to do with whales dumping. On the left side, we see the token distribution. So small retail is wallets with up to $1,000, medium-sized retail up to $10,000, large up to $100,000. Whales is more than $100,000 worth of the token. And we can see how the split changes over time. At the peak, the whales had 68% of the token, and then this went down to 43%. That's what I believe explains the volatility in the price. Because when we look at the value that's held by small retail, that simply tends to increase. And yes, medium-sized retail does take some profit, but really the largest volatility in the holding is by those very large whales. We can see that the current recovery is not necessarily supported by a lot of small retail investors buying in. Because in aggregate, the number of first-time and recurring traders isn't growing anymore. We tend to rather trend downwards. And most days we've got now more recurring traders than first-time traders. Normally you want to see more first-time traders than recurring traders like in the first days. That means that the investor base is still growing very aggressively. The number of token transactions also tends to rather trend downwards. And so here's the trading volume over time. Again, the trend is not necessarily positive. The split up across the different wallet cohorts didn't really change. And so why are we then going up recently? Why is Alchemist AI the best performing token among the bunch? Now things are hyper bullish right now, right? Bitcoin continues to make one high after the next, and pretty much every altcoin is appreciating right now. It almost feels like because there's so much correlation within crypto that it doesn't really matter what we buy. What we see over here is the others dominance. So how much of all of crypto is in the altcoins that's not in the top 10 in terms of market cap. And that's growing very nicely, very steadily in the last days. And I see this in the statistics of this crypto channel as well. Nobody was interested in crypto just a few weeks ago, and suddenly we're spiking up in terms of attention again. And so yes, it's true that everything tends to go up, but there are still ways to outperform. So for example, over here, this is the Memecoin market, and in the last 7 days, AI16Z more than doubled. Yes, Bitcoin went up as well, but it definitely did not double. Now it's at a price of 43 cents. But the question is, how can we get into a token like AI16Z before it doubles? How can we find out about tokens like this early? And what I personally like to do is I like to follow other influencers. I like to follow insiders. I like to follow people that tend to move the markets, especially for those very small tokens. So have a look at this. Kyle Chessy bought AI16Z on the Jupiter exchange on Solana for 1.8 cents. And he didn't just buy once, he bought several times. Since then, the price went up by more than 2,000%. Now, who is Kyle Chessy? He's an influencer that tends to buy tokens very early, where of course not every single token makes these kinds of returns, but it's a bit like VC investing, right? You make 10 bets, you hope for 2 of those bets to make returns like this, and you're okay when the other 8 out of those 10 bets don't work out as well. So here we go, here is his channel. He's got 138,000 subscribers, and we track 12 of his wallets. So this is how wallet tracking works, right? You use on-chain analytics to find out who owns what wallet. And once you've got the wallet, you put this in a tracker. And then whenever this wallet makes a transaction, whenever this wallet buys or sells, we get an automatic notification. We are not just tracking Kyle Chessy, we also track Crypto Banter, for example. They've got 1.1 million subscribers. When they talk about a token, especially a small cap token, that token definitely goes up because there's a lot of attention on the token, right? Attention equals purchases, purchases equal a higher price. We've got 33 of Crypto Banter's wallets. And we're also tracking, for example, Alex Becker. He's got 1.5 million subscribers. We've got 12 of his wallets. And so really, I believe this is the way to beat the crypto market. It's to know more than most. It's not just to pick random tokens in a list, hope that they will make a 2-3x in this bull run. It's actually to be early. It's so early that most people don't know about this yet. I believe in this strategy so much that I made 8 dedicated tutorial videos just on wallet tracking. So how can we find influencer wallets? How can we track them? And how can we then also interpret the signals that we get from the tracking? It's all part of the premium membership of this channel. The link is down below, thebitcoinstrategy.com. Premium is not just about wallet tracking. It's also about backtesting. It's also about macro indicators. It's also about risk mitigation, portfolio diversification, etc. There's more than 100 tutorial videos in total in premium. And so yeah, people are very happy. Feel free to stop this video over here and read this feedback. The most important thing is, of course, once we have those kind of signals, that we also get some feedback from the rest of the community, right? That we discuss when should we buy, when should we sell, what are the current on-chain analytics. That's why I've got dedicated chats on the individual altcoins as well. So feel free to check it out. Feel free to invest some of the gains to make the portfolio grow even faster. There's also a 1-week money back guarantee. So in case you don't like premium, just message me within the first week and I will refund you 100%. You really have zero risk. I think this price rally has to do with centralized exchanges. Because when the trading volume on-chain is going down, but the price is recovering, and there is some correlation between attention, trading volume, and price, the price is recovering, that means the demand has to come from the centralized exchanges. And so now we've got 45% of all of trading volume happening on htx.com. Price discovery now happens on HTX, not on Radium anymore. I believe we are observing how the centralized exchanges take over the token, how they own more and more of the supply. Very similar to what we've seen on other Pump.fun ecosystem tokens like Fartcoin, for example. The price is likely going to get stabilized. It's likely going to outperform Solana for a while, up until the centralized exchanges pretty much own everything. So the best time to sell is probably once there is very little trading volume on Radium, and when most liquidity has moved over to the centralized exchanges like HTX, etc. If you got some value out of this video, feel free to subscribe. I publish this regularly. A like would be very much appreciated as well. It helps the channel grow. See you in the next video, or see you in premium. Cheers.